Is there still a war?
Okay.
There's no fee.
Okay. Welcome to the December 4th meeting of the Oakland Mayor and Council. At this time, roll call.
Mayor Schwager.
Here.
Councilman Bialy.
Here.
Councilman Knapp.
Here.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes, here.
Councilman Levy.
Here.
Councilman Signatelli.
Here.
Councilman Talamini.
Here.
At this time, please stand, salute the flag, and a moment of silence.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please be seated. My meeting announcement. This meeting is being held in accordance with the Open Public Meetings Law, duly announced, advertised, and posted in the municipal building. My mayor's report for tonight. I missed the last meeting. I want to thank Councilman Knapp for taking over in my absence. Unfortunately, I had a death in my family and could not be here. I thank everyone for your expression of sympathy, so thank you all. Tonight, we're taking a group photograph for the 2020 calendar. It's a new endeavor. It's a new project by the borough. I want to thank Michael Corelli, who is organizing this.
Great job, man.
Good luck. We're taking a photograph later, so we're going to move right through this meeting. It's going to be a very informative calendar. It's going to have a lot of information, phone numbers, contact information, meeting dates, right? Meeting dates on the calendar. You don't have to use your phone, you just have the calendar. But it's exciting, and hopefully this will be the first of many annual calendars by the borough. Thank you, DPW. As always, you did a fantastic job with our roads. You know when you're leaving Oakland after a snowstorm, because our roads have blacktop already and the other roads don't. But I heard my plow, and I live on a little street, and I heard that plow all night long. So they worked so hard, and we are very appreciative of all the work that DPW does. This Sunday is the annual Christmas tree and menorah lighting, Veterans Park, 5 p.m. Activities to follow, but I don't want to take a thunder away from public events, so you could talk about all that. Now, Oakland's second annual holiday lighting showcase starts now. Judging will be the evening of December 19th. If you're interested in participating, contact Jen Diego at Jen, Jen, at chopperrussogroup.com. Rules. Neighborhoods will be judged by section, divided by the elementary school. It'll be Dogwood, Heights, and Manitou. There'll be one grand prize, and that will be awarded. One runner-up and two runner-ups will be awarded per section. And in case you were wondering, the house at 116 Chickasaw will not participate in the contest. Actually, he's one of the judges. Prizes, well, grand prize, $500 gift card. Runners-up, $100 gift card, and second runners-up, $50 gift card. You will be recognized in the town newsletter, and again, when you register, you'll get a lawn sign to put on your lawn that you are registered home for the contest. Call, or not call, but actually email Jen, Jen, at chopperrussogroup.com. Register, put your house up in lights. It'll be, it helps decorate the town. And the town has not been decorated yet because DPW has been a little busy with snow. Thanksgiving came late this year, so we're all off schedule a little bit. They were busy with getting our roads cleared for snow and also getting the hockey rink clear for the grand opening on Friday night, when the lights will be on in the rec field for the hockey rink ceremony. Okay, that's okay, Friday night. Today, thank you, Chopper Russo, and this is the second year in advance that Oakland is participating in the county holiday tree decorating contest. And it's in Van Zorn Park, and you walk along a path, and each town, each of the 70 municipalities in Bergen County have a tree designated for them. And today was decorating. Again, because of the way the holiday fell, the dates were all mixed up, but Chopper Russo went, and I have pictures, and it'll be on Facebook, I'm sure, of the decorating. Last year, I helped Chopper with my husband, and it was during Thanksgiving weekend. But again, because of the way the holiday fell and with snow, so decorating was today. So Chopper and Ingrid Russo, thank you. Kathy and Mike Best with their son Mike and daughter Emma, and also Andrea Cairns and their son Aiden. Thank you for decorating the tree. If you go to Van Zorn Park, look for the Oakland tree. Otherwise, I'm sure Chopper is going to post it on Facebook. And with that, I will entertain a motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Would anyone like to speak? Now, you don't have to raise your hand, just jump right in. And the
Hope you don't mind.
microphone's in the ceiling.
I have to hold this as a state I'm on call, so I have it
Oh,
on
that's
vibrate,
okay.
but
But
I
just so you
won't
know,
feel
the
it in my
mic,
pocket.
no, just so you know, the microphone's on the ceiling.
Okay,
Oh, so you could, no.
all right. Ed Hudzina, 576 Rampo Valley Road. I have two things I would like to complain about tonight, but I'm going to ask the council members a few questions first before I give you my opinion. The first thing, I'm going to start with Bobby Knapp, with Councilman Knapp, because he's probably most aware of. Can you explain to me, or to the town, what we're looking to build at the firehouse, what it's going to be used for, and what the cost is going to be?
All right, we usually don't do a question and answer, but if Bobby wants to.
Just something real short.
Very
Okay,
quick.
yeah, just high level. So we're looking to build a garage. Currently, right now, it's set for 3 bays. One bay is going to be meant for storage, one bay is going to maintain our boats, and one bay is going to maintain our Suburban, which sits outside in the weather.
Okay. One other question real quick, then I'll get to my point. How many firehouses do we have in this town?
3.
All right. Most towns do not have the ability to carry a single firehouse that does not get used normally. Therefore, my question is why are we building another building for storage when we have a third firehouse that is basically currently being used just for storage now? And at the cost, from what I was hearing, is pretty absorbent, and I get it. Everyone gets it. We like to have things, but unfortunately, we need to learn the difference between needs and wants in this town. And I think to spend the money for a storage building when we already have one. Now, in addition, I have daughters, stepdaughters that have stuff at my house. We have to declutter once in a while. And if the town decluttered a little bit, I really don't think we need to spend that kind of money for a storage building that we already have a building to use for storage. I know exactly what's in most of the buildings because I do have friends on the fire department, ex-friends on the fire department. That's my first point. Okay, now I'll move on to the next thing.
Well, you didn't give me a chance to
Okay.
answer, because you made a bunch of accusations there. So the first thing is, Company 3, the firehouse that you're questioning up in the industrial park, stores a spare engine, stores our antique, stores our parade engine, stores right currently now our boats and our jet skis. So if you have if we have a need for a boat and or a jet ski, right now we have to take a piece of Suburban or the utility truck at Company 2, drive it all the way up to Company 3, hook up, drive it back to wherever we're going to get, if we have a chance to save a life, to go save a life.
Right.
We want to keep it down at the firehouse, so it'll be right next to the vehicle that's going to tow it. So 1, that's a safety issue. 2, there's no room in Company 3 to put anything else, because of what I just told you that's in there. Even the Suburban, which is a utility vehicle, would have to sit outside, which it does now, and it's just getting abused by the weather from the sun and from the winter. So that's why we want to put it inside.
Right.
Storage inside the bays at Company 1. I'm just telling you because you may know, you think you know what's in the firehouse, but take it from a guy that's been here 38 years that really knows what's going on around here. So how much does it cost? In my opinion right now, it still costs too much. The administrator and I actually had a phone call about it this morning. He told me they had a bid opening today, told me what the bids were. We rejected them again because of the cost of it. I am not just doing things because I want. all right? I take that as a little bit of an insult from you. So that, you had your bit, now it's my turn. So that's how I take that. I'm a little defensive because of the way you came across. So is there a need? Yes, there's a need. Are we gonna waste money? We've rejected the bids twice so far because we think it's too costly. So, no, we're not wasting money. We are looking at other avenues to get something accomplished. Maybe we'll downsize what we're doing. I don't know what the answer is, but there is a need for it.
Just a quick question, where's the stuff stored now?
I just told you, the boats are scattered all over the place. Some are up at Company 3, one right now is downtown, which needs to go up to Company 3, and we have one stored up in Company 2. The Suburban that's
maybe-
outside, the Suburban I'm talking about is sitting out in the back of the firehouse, which you obviously see when you drive by. So the whole point in that is to maintain the usefulness of that vehicle by keeping it out of the elements.
I didn't mean any disrespect to the
Councilman,
fire
excuse me,
department.
but Councilman, maybe you could arrange for you to take a tour and see what he's talking about in that third firehouse? Do you think that's possible?
That sounds to me like he already has.
Oh, you went in there?
I know most of the firehouses, what they have, where they have it.
But
I
have you
wouldn't
been
know.
inside?
You can look through the windows and see,
No, you
for
can't.
the most part.
No, you can't.
Well,
But-
if you're interested, if you contact Councilman Knapp, I'm sure he will arrange for you to go into the firehouses and explain everything.
And I meant no disrespect to the
That's
fire
all good.
department. I think our fire department and first aid squad do an excellent job because they're out all the time.
Yes.
Since I live on 202, I know what goes out and
Listen,
how.
I get it, but you
You know,
want,
I'm here basically to try to keep this town from spending a lot of taxpayers' dollars. Our taxes are high. We always talk about the seniors. They're all on, there's a lot of seniors in this town that are on, minimum. So I need to, remind people, because none of our stuff ever comes in at budget. It always comes over budget for the most part, most of the projects we do. Which leads me to the next project. And hope you don't mind taking a few extra minutes.
No.
Stream House.
Funny you should ask. I just had this discussion with Mr. Kunz right before the council meeting. I said, so the status of knocking down, well, I'm sorry. Dismantling, wrong word, not allowed to use knocking down.
Right.
And he assured me, correct, Mr. Kunz, that you will follow up with the county, because we were told we could save money with county resources to dismantle the stream house.
Yeah, so I have a call into the county to talk to them about that, and we're trying to get a meeting together with the project architect and the county and everybody to talk about the project planning and phasing with the county's involvement. So,
2020 is the year, correct?
Oh, yeah.
It's going down. We're gonna have a ceremony, and I hope you'll be a part
I
of it.
very much appreciate that, but what is the plan after we take it down?
Then we have to submit a plan to the state, and we can't just rebuild it. I always thought they wanted us to replicate it.
But,
They
is it-
don't. Some of our dreams are to make it like a little, almost like a museum for the children,
See,
because we were the county seat for a while. And that's why you have Courthouse Place. And it should be a little museum of history.
My question is, are we required by the state to
Yes.
rebuild it?
Not that, and it's not a replica. We are
Right, I
required
understand.
to,
Replace it.
But we are required to rebuild it.
Yes.
That's part of,
with
that's the deal.
something. And they will, yes.
That's the deal. That's the
the
deal
deal.
we struck.
You're right. Unfortunately, I think that's a terrible deal, only because it blocks the view of that beautiful building that we are repairing in the back. And I think it would, it's just another thing that we really don't need, because it blocks the view on that corner of a beautiful
Well, it
thing
won't
that
be
we're
that
preserving.
size. It doesn't have to be that size.
It's not gonna be, it's gonna be a small building, and we envision, we've been talking about this for years, to make that building a small historical museum and schoolhouse. And other schools from around the county can come and study the Van Allen House through a big picture window on one side of the building, looking at the Van Allen House.
It's going to be lovely. It
It's
really is
been
going to be.
our
We're going to be
thoughts.
proud of it.
Yeah.
Just because we spent a lot of money on that building already and never really went anywhere with it. And
With the stream house?
the stream house and the other one.
Well, that's
but mainly the stream house.
because, so you
I
know,
understand.
years
some of
ago,
the
years ago, two properties were conjoined, so there was both historical. That's it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
The whole site is actually
You can
historic.
call me, you can email me with all your complaints, everybody else does.
We have a few more, but we'll save that for the next
Thank
council
you.
meeting. Thank you for your
Okay.
time.
Hi.
Hello. My name is Vic Pedalino. When I heard that this meeting was going to cover Airbnb and boarding house ordinance, I felt obligated to participate.
You have to give your address, I'm sorry.
I'm a 42-year resident of
No,
Oakland,
you
New
have to give
Jersey.
your address.
I'm going to give it to you right now.
Oh, because you said a 42-year resident.
And I live on 52 McNomie Street.
Got it.
And I love this town, and I don't plan on moving. Oakland has always been at the top of the charts for family living and its excellent school system, and is why so many families have chosen to live here. Those families came to Oakland to purchase a one-family home in a residential section of town. However, Borough Ordinance 59-49-3B states that any home within a residential section can be a boarding house and is allowed to have 3 boarders. That's 3 boarders in addition to the family of the homeowner or renter. Translated, that means that probably most everybody in this room who lives in Oakland, there could be a boarding house or homes on their blocks according to this ordinance. That means anybody's house could have one right next door to them. That's what the ordinance allows.
3 boarders,
At least 3 boarders, yes, up to 3 boarders.
unrelated.
Unrelated, plus the family that lives there. That's what the ordinance states. Also, the ordinance does not specify whether the owner has to reside on site, or if the home is rented, whether it can be run as a boarding house by the renter. I know the concept of establishing numerous boarding homes throughout the borough in residential sections is not why we moved here. For safety reasons, who is enforcing the 3-boarder limit? Are these boarding houses registered and monitored by the borough? Are the owners required to notify the borough of the occupants? Does the borough require the owner to notify the fire department and the police department of the fact that the dwelling is a boarding home, so that in any emergency, they are definitely prepared to handle any situation in a safe manner? I've had some experience with that on my own block in McNomie Street, and the mayor's aware of it, where at one point there was up to 8 people living in the house. That's subsequently subsided, but then I became aware of this ordinance. And we really have no say-so in it. Like I said, everybody on this council lives in Oakland.
Not true.
What's that?
You do have say-so.
Okay. There was nobody that was specifically enforcing this. Everybody told me that we're not police, we don't have any jurisdiction going to the house. How does this happen? You know, what do we do? I asked about septic systems. They said Board of Health can't do anything unless there's a septic leak. And if a person rents a house as a 3-bedroom house and they've got 3 boarders, which rooms are they living in? There has to be, I guess, an egress and fire alarms. Anyway, I strongly recommend that the mayor and council review ordinance 59-49-3B and remove it for the preservation of our residential areas. As to Airbnbs, Oakland should be ahead of the curve and closely review the impact that Airbnbs will have in our community. In over 11 nearby towns, there has been an effort to stop or minimize the use of Airbnbs in their communities, such as Rutherford, Fairview, Closter, Englewood, Franklin Lakes, Paramus, Palisades Park, Fort Lee, Woodcliff Lakes, and Lyndhurst, just to name a few. In today's record, matter of fact, even Jersey City, a large metropolitan area, which is not like our little borough here, has fought and restricted Airbnbs, citing that they are unregulated, pose safety and air quality and quality of life issues. Oakland doesn't need Airbnbs. Thank you.
Just so you know, if you look at the agenda under work session, it's an item on the discussion, and the attorney has the ordinance that we have to review.
Great.
Mayor?
Yes.
And if you
Yes.
notice, sir, the Jersey City was on the ballot in November, and it went down 75-25.
Exactly.
Okay,
Mayor?
thank you.
Mayor,
Yes,
I just want to let everybody know, Mr. Petaluma had made contact with me about a month or so ago, and in regards to the issue that's taking place in his neighborhood, which is why I brought it up under new business last meeting, so that we can discuss this in further depth and really address some of the issues that you're facing in your neighborhood. And there's more than one of these occupancies within the town
Yes.
that people are having a problem with.
we know that.
And-
Plus, your neighbors have contacted me. We did send our former inspector there, who's now retired, and we have a new inspector.
Okay.
And we're getting
Well,
more
I just
diligent.
want the council to realize that we're all in the same boat.
And we're very aware of your street, very aware of your street. And your neighbors have contacted me, we've sent people there, we're discussing it tonight under work session, and the ordinance is sitting in the hands of our attorney right now, because we know it's too broad,
Yes.
and it has to be tightened up. Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. William Sisti, 12 Eagle Crest Place, Oakland.
Hi.
I saw on the agenda about the Airbnb.
Yes.
And I would be in favor of a limited situation with an Airbnb, where if a homeowner wanted to monetize 1 or 2 rooms in his house, he would be able to do that to maybe help reduce his taxes and just have some extra income. I would not be in favor of a house being entirely rented out, or many, many rooms, which might even get to be a boarding house situation. So I just want to give my opinion on that.
Thank
But
you.
just one room or 2 rooms has to be owner occupied. The owner has to be there to supervise it. But that would be my opinion on what to do with that. Okay.
Always looking for everyone's opinion.
Thank you.
And now,
Dave Richardson, 320 Rampo Valley Road. Just a couple things. One thing is the intersection of Rampo Valley Road and Doty Road,
yes,
all right? What would it take the state to come in and put a light at that intersection? That is so dangerous there. You know how many times I've been almost creamed by people blowing that stop sign out of there? They cut right in front of you. I mean, it's really, because you got the gas station there,
Yes.
and you got the diner.
Excellent.
And you got the animal hospital.
If I might, Mayor, it's
Yeah.
actually funny you should mention that. We are already in the process. As you know the sidewalk over by Great Oak Park that caved in?
Yeah.
So repairing that permanently became a demonstrative effort. So our borough engineer came up with a plan of relocating the sidewalk across the street. Part of that would facilitate us having to get a traffic light at the intersection of 202 and Doty Road, because people are going to need to cross back over to Doty Road. And that cannot be done without a traffic light. So John is coming to us with a proposal to move the sidewalk, and we're going to try and get the county, since that's a county road, to put the light in there for us. It's about a 2-year process, though.
No, that, I mean,
in
people come.
addition, I don't know if you keep up with what's going on at the planning board, that Burger King property that the application's been before us, that's going to be developed. Burger King is coming down. It's in, we have the application and we'll be hearing about it. So there's going to be more traffic over there, which is why the whole idea with the sidewalks on the other side, plus we're going to need a light.
Because you got the people coming off the Skyline Drive from
Yes.
Ringwood to cut through to go to Wayne,
Yes,
right? My daughter did that, hit for a speeding ticket,
Oh.
this is a couple of years
but
ago.
we're gonna have a light there.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, it really needs it there. And my other thing is, my
And
thing
now-
with the lights. Now, I'm just wondering, would it be feasible to put a notice in the Oakland blog or whatever, the site, the Oakland site, saying that the lights would be shut off at the field between December 1st and April 1st. It would probably save thousands of dollars in wasted electricity down there. Because I can't imagine how many hundreds, thousands of kilowatt hours are being wasted every day down
Well,
there.
this is under the control of the Recreation Commission, is that correct?
Yeah, they control they control the timing, and I know, if I understand correctly, we do have lights on in the wintertime for people that can walk on the path. Now, obviously, when there's snow on the ground and it's covered, that's a different story, but generally speaking, in the wintertime, we do try to keep that track open as much as possible, including nighttime hours till about 8:30 or so. But to the extent that there are lights on when it's snowing and the field isn't in use, it's a conversation I'll have with Mike
So
again.
Mr. Kearns will address it now,
I know
and
he's
then
taking it
next
very
year,
seriously.
Well, I'm
next
just
year,
saying-
whatever council person is dealing with recreation
Right.
will have to address it with the rec commission.
Right, because, I mean, for everybody in the town here to have to help pay for the lighting down there during the winter, because a couple of people want to take a walk, you know? If, in the winter, and it's covered with, there's 8 inches of snow down there now, why can't these people want to take a walk? Go to a mall or something, go inside where it's warm, and do a little shopping.
Beyond
and-
me,
and
why
help
everybody
the
would wanna
economy,
walk
you know,
out there in the
spend some
cold.
money there, too, you know? I wouldn't want to walk
Stay
down there,
healthy.
Yes,
you know? You
But
got
it will be
coyotes
addressed.
running around, and bears, and who else knows?
Can I just talk about the lights a little bit? I spend a lot of time on the rec field. I have 3 kids, and so we're always down there doing something. I've been on both sides of the issue. I've been on the field when the lights have shut off on the kids during a game, a baseball game, because the lights are set to go off at 10 o'clock at night, and it's a baseball game. They go on a long time, and so now you're in the middle of a pitch and the lights go off, and you're worried somebody's gonna get hit with a ball or something like that, because people are worried. Everybody's afraid that we're leaving the lights, we're leaving them on too long, we're turning them off, and then I've been at games where the lights haven't gone on because we're afraid to turn the lights on too soon, so now it's dark, and you're trying to play a baseball game, but you're afraid to turn the lights on because we're so it's a little bit of a safety thing, and they do what they can. There are times when the lights are on, yes, when they shouldn't be on. It's a mistake. It's not. They're doing what they can to keep the lights. The lights on when they should be, but I would rather. I mean, I've been down there when the lights go out, and now you can't get to your car because there's no lights. It's everybody's got their phones out shining, because it's so dark down there, and that's not safe.
Well, the thing is, I've been down there when it's pouring rain.
Yeah, I
And,
understand.
they should be on. There's
I
nobody
understand.
down there.
They-
It's
they-
such a waste of electricity.
It is, but they do what they can. And believe me, I get on there. And I'll text Mike, or I'll text whatever sport I'm in, the head of my sport, and I'll say, hey, listen, are people down on the field? The one day I left here, it was raining, and I saw the lights were on. I go down there, and I'm like. Oh, the lights are on. I said, let me go down there before I say anything. And I go down there, it's raining, but the football players were still out there practicing. So it's, they're trying their best to turn the lights off. I know you want to come here and you want to talk about the lights being on and the lights being off, but they're doing everything they can. And in the end, they're volunteers, and it really, the times that I've been on the field when the lights were either on or off when they shouldn't have been, it's annoying, and it's not safe for the kids.
I know, but it's just,
You know.
I think it's more times than not that they should be off when there's nobody down there, right? And the weather's bad. You know?
Mr. I just want to say, I mean, we've discussed this many times, and and Mike Guadino as well. And they, as Russ said, they're really trying to police themselves the best that they can.
Yeah.
And they're really trying. And obviously, we came to that one agreement when we walked around the track. Remember, we only light a certain section of it now to save electricity. So I mean, they really do a good job.
Well, I'm sure, but,
Yeah.
the cost of replacing those bulbs, you gotta hire a company to come in with a cherry picker, and I'm sure the cost of those bulbs is not cheap.
They're all LED, and I believe they're all under contract, Mr. Coons,
They're
for all
not.
the repairs. No. Yeah.
But they
That
are.
was the,
It's a
he
Musco
said yes.
system.
It's a Musco system, and they're the best, as far as I know, they're the best for controlling and shutting down and putting on, and I think they still use a phone.
Yeah, they use
Yeah.
everything on
Your
the
phone,
You have to.
you make a phone call to Des Moines, Iowa, to the main control board, and in 5 minutes, the lights are off.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not just Oakland. I mean, you know me, I'm a car guy. I go to a lot of cruise nights during the summer. I go through like Kinnelon and Butler, I go up to Boone and some other places.
Yeah.
And same thing, all these other fields are all, lights are on and there's no games
I
going on.
have a
the
great
place is
job
empty.
for you.
Yeah. We used to do the lights in the Overpeck Park, is the park that I was involved in. And at night, what we did, the last sport to play was tennis. So at 10 o'clock at night, that's when tennis stopped. So at 10 o'clock at night, the tennis court lights go out. We leave the parking lot lights for another 15 minutes, and then we do the street lights going out of the park 15 minutes later. It actually escorted you out of the
Oh, yeah.
park at the right time. But it all can be set up, and I'm sure these guys are doing the best they can.
Let me ask you about the tennis courts. Do people who use those courts, do they pay for the maintenance there? Like the
No.
lighting
The
and all the other?
maintenance, no.
Okay. 'cause
Rich?
No, but
somebody
there
had
is,
told
but
me
there
one-
is a
A badge.
badge that you have to pay for
Right.
to gain access to the courts.
Yeah, it's too bad there couldn't be someone, they stick a card in there, turns the lights on, they play for an hour and, you know.
Mr. Kunz will address this
Shuts them
with
off.
our rec commission
It's available for $140,000.
again.
Thank you.
Anybody else? No? Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of minutes, October 30th. There a motion to
So
approve?
moved.
Second.
Any changes? Not roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
The meeting of November 13th,
So moved. Second.
Second.
any changes? Well, I was thinking to, yeah, because I wasn't here, so does it matter?
No.
Says on the regular part of the meeting, it should say that you were absent on the regular part of the meeting. Absent, Mayor Shea.
Okay, all right. Any changes? None? Roll call.
Councilman
Sorry.
Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Okay, we have executive session from October 30th, 2019. If there are going to be any changes, it must be made during executive session.
So moved. Second.
Will there be any changes? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yep.
Councilman Pinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Executive session November 13th. Again, if there's going to be any changes, it must be made during executive session.
So moved.
Second.
Any changes? Roll call.
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
We cross off proclamation, well, it's already been crossed off on the revised agenda. First Aid Squad, I don't know if they're coming next meeting or in January.
Next meeting.
It's
December
December
18th.
18th, they'll be here. And that's when we'll do the proclamation.
Mhm.
It's 65 years? 65 years
Yep.
we have our volunteer First Aid Squad. Appointment to Shade Tree Commission. There is a form filled out for Shade Tree, Larry Levine. And is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Now, it's very confusing, the list, but he gets 2 years somehow. One of these people. I don't know who he replaces because there's some confusion, but we have 3 openings.
Yeah.
So for a 2-year appointment. Roll call?
Councilman Bialy.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinatelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Now, on the Flood Commission, Gina Steele moved, but her appointment is up this month. And then Steve Foley was up in 2018, but you said he's still a member of the Flood Commission.
He still attends, yes. I'm sure that Tony, if you're watching, tell Steve to fill out a citizen leadership form.
So that he could be back on legitimately. So Gina Steele's appointment is up the end of this month, so do we appoint now?
You could appoint him in
Yeah.
January, at the
Or
January
appoint-
meeting.
or
Do it in
appoint-
January. I would do it in January.
All right,
Just
so
put it on the
Larry
January.
will put it on the January so that you get your appointment in January. But you could attend, when's the next Flood Commission meeting?
That would be Monday,
Monday, I would suggest you attend.
7:30 at Borough Hall.
Thank you.
And thank you.
Resolutions, I will read it and we'll do as a consent agenda unless you want any pulled out. Pull out number 318, the flashing warning light. So we'll start with 19321, recreation,
Mary, why are you pulling it out?
because I was
It's not
told
done.
to. It's not done.
It's not done. That's what, okay,
Not
thank you.
properly prepared.
Thank you.
Go get him.
Okay, 19321, recreation refund, Teresa Barry, 12 Shoshone Path, $112. 19322, authorize the TWA application for 138 Bauer Drive. This is the Guru Nanak Mission, and they're going to be replacing a malfunctioning septic system. And this is authorizing us to consent to, for the application. And they're very good neighbors to us, or very good residents, I should say. 19323 is to appoint a per diem dispatcher, William Doherty, who lives in Fairlawn, at $20.50 per hour, effective December 5th. 19324 is authorized agreement with the First Aid Squad recycling bins. This rescinds Resolution 19267, whereas it was originally going to be the Oakland Elks. So now the Oakland First Aid Squad, this is a request for permission to maintain 2 recycling bins on the property located at 285 Rampo Valley Road, and we will be entering into a license agreement. 325 is to authorize the CDBG grant submittal, which is the Bergen County Community Development Grant, $276,000 for water main replacement on Grandview Avenue and Mountain Avenue. 19326 is authorized the grant application for a senior citizen bus, and that is, the total project is $109,536.91, and we're looking for a potential funding source, 25% of the project. 19327 is to authorize Boswell Engineering for drainage improvement on Yale Way. And if you've ever been on Yale Way when it gets cold, you know that we definitely need to do something there. It's all ice. The proposal submitted is dated November 4th, 2019, not to exceed $29,000. The survey, topographic survey is $7,500. Construction plans, $6,500. Construction management inspection, $15,000. 19328 is award contract to Boswell Engineering for emergency generator at the senior center, and it's not to exceed $20,000, $12,000 for engineering and design and drawings, and $8,000 for construction management and part-time inspection. 19329 is a resolution authorizing the purchase of gasoline through the 2017 New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance. Contract number 17-41, Rachel's Michelle's Oil, and it's not to exceed $130,000. 19330 is award contract for diesel fuel. Again, it is through the New Jersey Cooperative Purchasing Alliance. Contract 17-42 with Rachel's Michelle's Oil Company. The diesel will not to exceed $60,000. 19331 is the cancel capital balances, and these are for balances that remain after dedicated contracts have been completed, and the total general capital will be $375,807.65. Unexpended improvement authorization balance to cancel in water would be $40,832.02. And 19-332 support Roots for Rivers Reforestation Grant Program from Sustainable Jersey. It is to apply in Sustainable Jersey program for Roots for Rivers. Any wish to pull out?
But you, Mayor, I just wanted to make note that I believe you missed one of the recreation refunds. There were 2 of them.
I have one.
One is for Tracy Saliani.
I don't have that.
No, Tracy's the rec secretary.
Well, who's this one for $112?
It's for Teresa Barry.
Teresa Barry.
I said that.
What was there was 2 of them, no?
I have one.
Only one.
You see?
One.
His
Recreation
iPad
page? Oh,
is
that's the
out.
same one. Okay.
Should've had flips on.
2 papers.
Okay.
I thought they were 2
Is that a
separate.
motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Bianchi.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinizelli.
Yes.
Councilman Calamini.
Yes.
All right, introduction of the following ordinances. Cross off the shade tree ordinance. And would you like to know why?
My fault.
Peter, it's
Wasn't prepared properly.
his fault.
What happened is that we didn't carry over the changes from the last ordinance, and our staffing level was a little light the past 2 weeks. However, we're also adding the license required for the tree removal that was requested, so there will be a complete ordinance for introduction at the
For the
January.
contractor, you mean?
Yes.
Okay.
January meeting. So we'll have it complete with the way it should be for January.
Okay, so 19 Code 800 is recreation fees, charging for adult sports, baseball, basketball, rec and open camp, cheerleading, football, golf, roller hockey, tennis, soccer, softball, wrestling, travel baseball, summer sports camps, maintain bike program, special needs football, special needs cheerleading, volleyball clinics, TGA full-day sports camp, TGA full-day sports camp, TGA full-day from 8:10 to 8:14, cheerleading camp, spring break half-day camp, spring break full-day camp. Is there a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialek.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Lee.
Yes.
Councilman Pinuzelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Final hearing.
December 18th.
19 Code 801 water sewer charges and fees, and this is amending the existing ordinance. Is there a motion to introduce?
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialek.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinuzelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Final adoption of 19 Code 792 is to be carried until December 18th. And 19 Bond 798 supplemental capital appropriation for police IT equipment. Is there a motion to open
So
to the
moved.
public?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Does anyone wish to speak on this? Motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adopt.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilman Bialek.
Yes.
Councilman Net.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
Yes.
Councilman Pinuzelli.
Yes.
Councilman Talamini.
Yes.
Work session. Airbnb.
Mayor, you want me to take that? All right, so,
Actually, our attorney was going to talk
Well,
about it.
I think there are two distinct issues. It
Yes.
was listed under Airbnb. The real problem that you have is your zoning ordinance permits, as an accessory use in a residential zone, the keeping of not more than 3 boarders or lodgers. Doesn't really make sense.
When was that written?
There were amendments in '89, but I think.
1889 or 19?
Well,
1789.
but when I look at this was probably part of your original ordinance. So there are 2 avenues to deal with this. Certainly, we're too late in the year to deal with it, but you can certainly introduce an ordinance in January to get rid of that, which is what I would recommend. However, just so that everyone understands what happens, it's a zoning ordinance. So a zoning ordinance that exists, if someone has a non-conforming use, that non-conforming use can continue. So it will be prospective. However, I believe that if a boarder leaves, you're not going to be permitted to allow a new boarder in. So it'll sort of be self-executing as opposed to, just changing a zone.
Except someone has to, some authority has to monitor.
But I thought in a residential, in certain zones, if it's a one-family, you cannot have 2 unrelated families. You can have a mother and daughter.
We'll get to that in a minute. But in terms of the borders, I would suggest you just eliminate that. And also, I believe that it was discussed at a few meetings ago. I know the planning board's undergoing a master plan review. Certainly, they should be looking at whether there are any other aspects of the ordinance similar to this that should be eliminated. The second aspect is family. Family is widely defined now in ordinances. It's been litigated extensively throughout the state of New Jersey. They've tried to limit family to blood relations and the like. Can't do it. But you can limit a family to act as a single housekeeping unit. So someone can rent a single-family house three people, they're not living independently, they're living with each other, they share the kitchen and everything else. Sort of gets rid of the border language.
So if they're not related
Correct. Correct.
at
If
all,
a man and woman that don't want to get married and just want to live together, they're not related.
Or even roommates
Oh,
that,
that's
that
true.
want to do that. So the definition of family that we have and the like should be changed. I have the Franklin Lakes ordinance that is pretty good in terms of family. Then why don't we jump to the rental of units? Basically, unless you are defined as a family in Franklin Lakes, you can't rent a unit or a part, or a portion of a unit. Now, that family is broadly defined. The idea is it's a single housekeeping unit. That means that the people in the home share the entire home. They share the living room, the kitchen, the laundry facilities, and the like. So I would also suggest that you do something like that. Airbnb is a totally different topic. Airbnb are basically short-term rentals. The way that short-term rentals have been dealt with in other communities throughout the state is to basically ban rentals of less than 30 days. And there are two aspects and there are two sides to every story when it comes to that, is that are you looking to regulate, say, okay, what's the big deal if you rent a room as opposed to a short-term rental of the property? But again, the issue is one of enforcement. You know, if you don't have adequate enforcement,
Right.
it's better to prohibit than to permit, because who can tell who's doing what, who's living where, for how long?
Can we require them to have a permit to do it or a license to do it?
I've seen that, but again, it's administrative. Who's going to monitor that? Who's
Mr.
going
Coons,
to
you
run
gonna
it?
monitor this?
I mean, I.
That's something else that would probably fall with, under code enforcement.
Yeah. I mean,
Jurisdiction, and I think we need to have a discussion with the construction official about this, about what his experience has been in Franklin Lakes perhaps, and, you know, what the proper tools are that he would need to be able to do something that is permissive rather
I
than.
think we should license them or a permit.
But if you're licensing them, they have to get a license. Somebody has to administer it.
Yeah.
And if they don't get a license, what happens?
You
know?
get a fine.
How do you
Every
do
day.
it?
But isn't
Who's
the intent
gonna be the
here
police-
to prohibit
who's
this
gonna be the
in
cop?
residential
Well,
neighborhood?
the question that the governing body has to answer is we can certainly address the border issue, but short-term rental issues.
Oh,
you-
not the border, like
The board-
a
the-
geographic border?
right,
No,
Right. This is not build a wall. The issue with the Airbnb type ordinance, and I believe Wyckoff enacted one last year, is that there are two types of Airbnb rentals, where you're renting a room or renting the property. Is it the intention of the governing body to say, or to prohibit both? And that's really what has to be decided. Councilman Pignatelli says, well, they should be licensed and regulated, but again, all of that is an administrative cost and enforcement. So, you know, can it be done?
So if we prohibit Airbnbs, we can prohibit it outright, correct?
You're not technically prohibiting Airbnbs, you're prohibiting short-term rentals
Rentals.
for less than 30 days.
Okay, so if we simply craft an ordinance to prohibit that, that'll solve that problem, that short-term rental issue
If
across
that's
the board.
what the governing body would like to do, I mean, again, there's been so many people on both sides. It wasn't this year, I think it was in 18 or 17. I prepared an ordinance for Leonia. You had half the people that came to meetings that said, we want the ordinance, and there was the other half that said, no, we don't want the ordinance. We
How
don't
big a
want-"
problem is it in Oakland? I mean, are we talking about 2 residences
Well,
or 100 residences?
The question is, the house on McNomie, that's not an Airbnb issue.
No, it's a
No.
border issue.
That's just this issue of renting to a lot of people.
At one time it was. Now, whether it is now or not, I don't know. And that's what got me interested in this whole thing. But the issue here is, how can we not have some type of ordinance that says this can't be, or if it is, even like you just said, that if one boarder leaves now, they can't come back. Well, do we even know who has 3 boarders in their house now? does the fire department know if you have a rental that all of a sudden has 9 people in it? Now, they're going to a house that's registered to have 3 bedrooms, maybe 4 people. This is a big problem.
And that's exactly what our attorney is saying, how do we enforce it?
Well, I don't
And
know
how do
the
we
answer to that.
regulate it?
I don't, but the
Except you just prohibit everything.
So, but I say, everybody on this council, except for the people that, we all live here, and you could go home and the house next door to you is for sale, someone buys that, and they make it a boarding house. It could happen on 4 out of 5 houses on your block. And unless we do something about it, I mean, we could be ahead of the curve on this.
Could we limit it to a certain zone?
I was almost under the impression we were.
Why can't we limit it to a certain zone only?
But it would be a residential zone. So
That's what it's in now, though. The ordinance says residential 1,
Now-
2, 3, and 4.
All right, the house in McNomie that you're referring to, which I have talked to our inspectors, and they went back and forth, how do you know who's there, how many people?
I stopped doing it because it just got too
No,
frustrating.
no, but how do you know? The neighbors are the ones who know.
Right, but it's not our, it shouldn't be, we shouldn't have to watch.
You're the neighbor. But you have to tell our enforcement,
We did, and I went through hell with you.
Mayor,
Right, I
I've got
know.
your, Mayor, I've got the whole file right here. Mr. Petaluma
I
put together
know,
from
but the
2016.
problem is, that's exactly what the attorney is saying, is how do we enforce it?
I don't know that answer, and when I went to the town building, they said that, it's not a code, we went out there, and there was no problem, they were very cooperative, that was all fine and dandy, but you had more people living in the house. A month later, there was more people. Thankfully now, it's not the same issue, but that's why I'm so emphatic about this.
But you said, all right, and you said registration, but
I
he's
said
saying, but
registration
counts,
meaning that if a person wants to have somebody living in their home or with them, they must first come and register with the town to get a legal record of that home being used that way, and the town decides whether it can be done or not.
but
or
you're
who you put in there.
assuming they're going to do that, and that's what the attorney said. What if they don't?
Then the people in town will say something, and somebody will come out and check it and fine them, put a
It's-
restriction on it, close the house, do whatever they have to do to stop it.
Mayor, can I just ask
That's
the
what
attorney?
that's what law enforcement is about.
Can I just,
Exactly.
It's not an exact science. It is something that has to be investigated, because people are not upfront all the time.
Mayor, I think the issue.
Human
And
nature.
there are people in the neighborhood who are looking out for 5 children on the block, or other people's families on the block. There are people who say, hey, I think there's something going on over there, maybe you should check it out. And then they'll go and check it out, because not everybody's on the up and up.
Yeah.
Mayor, I think the issue really here is, clearly, the frustration that they're feeling down in McNomie is one thing, and especially since Mr. Petaluma shared his file with me, there were 10 signatures from residents in that neighborhood that were concerned. It's also an entrance and exit to Dogwood Hill School, so you've got young children that are walking there, and you've got a transient population that's coming and going, and there's a quality of life issue here for the residents, and also a safety issue if you don't know who your neighbors are or what's going on in there, okay? And this isn't the only house, there's another one also on Yawpo, same thing, another resident
Yes.
contact, they also said that, we have a
All
problem
the
here.
time on your post.
But the issue here is, this has been kicking around since 2016, so it's important that we surface this publicly and get some direction from our council as far as how we can address it, put some teeth into this, or either just prohibit it outright.
Can I just say that, not being a lawyer or anything like that, if even the ordinance that's on the book, I don't know when it was written, maybe it started.
1789.
Okay.
No.
Maybe when Oakland was on the river and we rented out houses for the people during the summer.
Right.
It made sense, now it doesn't. And if it says in the ordinance that it's for residential 1, 2, 3, and 4, can we just wipe that out? If they want to do it in a commercial section where there's rentals and everything like that, that's maybe one way to look at it, I don't know. But it has to be changed. And like I said, it scares me to the fact that, I live on a dead-end street. It's a beautiful street.
I know.
And
Tell me.
if somebody else has to leave and they need the money or whatever, and they rent out to 3 or 4 other people, this could go on, and everybody on this panel is in the same boat.
You
Yeah.
do reach a point
Yeah.
in time
If I
when the
might.
amount of people in a house affects the ability of the septic system to
Good
accept.
next.
Yeah, but the Board of Health wouldn't go there.
I don't get it.
I
I
went to
mean-
the
No,
Board of
if it's a
Health.
malfunctioning system, they can, but not if it's not
No, no, no.
malfunctioning.
All right.
If you
No,
have,
If you have
breaking
10
the law.
people living in a
You're not
house,
breaking the law.
but if you have 10 people in a, and
there's
living in a
no,
house?
there's no way to enforce that. I went through both
Yeah.
departments.
I'm sorry, I just want
No,
to make a
that's fine.
suggestion, I just have a thought here. If it is the desire of the community
I
and the
know.
governing body to limit this, so that it is a better quality of life for you, for anybody in town, maybe the idea is, maybe we need to give our borough attorney instructions to craft an ordinance and craft a resolution so that it can be, that if they see something, they can report it. If in fact that we say, okay, you can't have more than 2 non-related people or 2 non-living together people in one residence, if you see it, the only realistic way to enforce it is you're gonna have to contact the borough the code official and say,
I've been through it already.
I know, but right now, we don't have the ordinance.
Right.
We don't have the mechanics in place.
Right.
So the problem is, whether or not we all like it right now, it doesn't matter, because apparently, it sounds as if that we have ordinances that allow it, or that don't prohibit it. So, if we all agree that our borough attorney's job here is to craft a resolution, or an whatever you want to call it, so that this is now a prohibited activity, and that we have, it's that the code official has something, when he knocks on their door, and, there's obviously 10 people living there, and, 5 kitchenettes set up in different rooms, he can say, this is obviously a scenario where you have multiple I don't know what you want to say, habitating or non-family, quote-unquote, family members
Familial.
living here, therefore, this is in violation. The homeowner gets a citation, because along with saying that you can't do it, there has to be some teeth.
Right.
It's
A penalty.
right, it's
I
the
think the
same,
fir-
it's
the
the same
first-
problem we have with stream dumping. We have a $100 ordinance for stream dumping. And when I first saw it, I said, well, that's got no teeth. Until I found out it's every time we go back there, you can fine them the same $100. And you can go back every, half a day.
So I have a question.
Can we give them right
Yes.
of entry?
So,
I know.
well, Brian, where do rental houses come into play? So what if you get, I'm just throwing this out there, what if you get 4 guys that go to Ramapo College and they want to rent a house?
We have that on Andrew Avenue.
That wouldn't be prohibited, is that basically that has been litigated. So if they're operating as a single housekeeping unit, which means they function together using the same facilities, then that would be permitted. What you're attempting to do is to deal with the rental to non-related people who are not acting as a family unit, so you're renting rooms. So if there were 4 people that say, we're gonna rent this house and we're gonna live here together and we're gonna live here for, the year, and we sign a year lease, that's one. It's not a 1 week or 30-day rental of a
The
room.
term I understand, the short-term
Right.
part I completely agree with.
All right.
But you have to be careful, because it was litigated, I guess, I think it was Stockton College, where they tried to ban it, and it just didn't work. It was
Yeah,
litigated.
That's what I was getting
I
at.
saw-
Litigated for several years. This basically is simple. Maybe next year, you have to decide what you want to do about Airbnb, but next year, you'll also have an ordinance that will address the following, which will address the borders, which will specifically define family, which will define a one-dwelling unit, a single-family unit, and also the rental, because I happen to like the Franklin Lakes one.
Can
All right,
we
so
take a
I-
straw poll for this? I mean,
Well, I think what Brian has to do
We
is
gotta
go
read it.
back, give us samples,
I gotta read it.
possible ordinances, ideas, read it, everybody has to read it, give your opinion, make your comments, and then we'll work on it. And we'll ask for some input from the residents, we'll keep you posted let's do it right, let's not rush into it and do it a haphazard ordinance. Let's do it properly and figure out all possible scenarios, Airbnb, rentals, the college kids sample. And apparently, the house on McNomee, if they rent out to, let's say, 4 different families, they're not sharing a kitchen. So that's an absolute prohibition.
Well, like I said, I'm not referring to the house on McNomee anymore.
I'm just using that as an example.
Right. All I can say is, one of the main things, after reading this and coming here tonight, if you can remove, for anybody coming into Oakland now, with all the different things that are going on, if they can be guaranteed that they're moving into their home, a one-family house in a residential area, and this can't be done, then I think that, but if there's an out that they can actually be living next to somewhat of a
You
boarding
can
house.
always say it can't be done, but there's no guarantees, you know that.
Yeah.
Just as you said, not everybody's up and up, you said that. Not everybody, if we had a registration policy, not everybody would register, not everybody follows the law, you know that.
But if one thing in the ordinance, if that residential part comes out, we don't have to deal with that anymore.
We're going to be,
Yeah.
we're going to do it right.
That's-
And we're going to be doing this over a period of time with input. So please,
But this
you'll hear us,
ordinance-
you'll read about it. We'd like your input.
This ordinance would be put on the borough website?
Yes,
So
everywhere.
that people who, like say somebody owns a house, wants to rent to 4 students up at Ravenville College, they have to go onto the website and see if there is a ordinance allowing them to do that, and then they will do it.
Also, we'll make sure the realtors are aware of this.
Then you have realtors involved?
Yes, you have to make sure the realtors are aware of it.
You have eyes all over the place. The town has eyes all over the place.
I know that.
Not just the people who living in the house across the street from the house,
Yes,
but you have eyes all over the place.
but we
To
will
get the
get
work
your
in this
input.
town, you have
I
to go through
promise
the
you on
council.
that.
You have to go
And we
through the
really hope you will give us your input.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Mayor, one more question for our attorney. Mr. Chakowski, you and I obviously talked about this earlier today and yesterday. Can you just elaborate a little bit on the enforcement side of kind of how that has to be crafted?
Well, the enforcement is a little difficult. If there's a violation of the ordinance and there's an articulable suspicion, the only way you can get access is to get a warrant. The municipal court judge will have to provide that warrant. So if there's a complaint to the construction department should make an investigation. That investigation may reveal that the complaint had a valid basis, and if you're looking to get in the house, you can knock on the door, they let you in. Otherwise, you need a warrant.
Yes,
All right,
otherwise
I
you'll be
just-
trespassing.
Yeah, I
And
think we-
you'll be the one with the criminal charge against you for trespassing.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. I think it's just important
Okay.
for the public to hear that, there are a lot of moving pieces, parts here when it comes to enforcement as
Thank
well.
you.
Thank you.
Anybody have any other new business? Old
Oh,
business?
I have one
Yes.
under new business.
Yes.
Another resident also, I've heard this from a couple people, across 202, and I discussed it with Pat, I just want to bring this up publicly. When you
That's
cross-
Councilman Pignatelli?
Yes.
Yes. When you're crossing from Krausers over to the other side of 202, especially for the kids where we put the police officer down there, when school gets out, is there any way that we can get the county or somebody or the town to put in one of those buttons where you push the button and all of a sudden the yield sign, the crossing signs light up so the children can cross and then it turns off when they get to the other side? I mean, that's just, there's no way to get across that intersection.
I'll tell you, worst section is the 410 building, trying to go from the 410 building to Walgreens.
That's in the
way
middle of the road, you
traffic
can't
light
do
is-
that.
Pardon?
That's the middle of the road, you can't do that.
There's
No,
a
there's
crosswalk
a
there.
crosswalk
Oh,
there.
you have to go into the crosswalk?
Yes, but I'm saying even then,
Oh.
it's extremely dangerous because the light changes and.
Traffic is coming
That
from
is
all over.
why we
Right,
need to redo that intersection.
Yes,
It's
yes,
a mess.
yes, yes.
And we are doing a traffic
Right.
safety study
Right.
and a traffic congestion
Right,
study.
right, right.
So all this will be encompassed in
Right,
it.
Can I,
Not yet.
on that intersection, can we have the crossing guard not cross people against the light? She crosses people against the lights, which is bad. And we should have a little education that people shouldn't be crossing when the little do not walk sign is flashing. People
Aren't they under
cross
the
against
umbrella of
that.
the police
But the
department?
crossing
Yes,
guard
the
does have to
police
have it.
All right, just so you know, the
Crossing
crossing
people.
guards are under the umbrella. Are you listening, Councilman Knapp? Under the umbrella of the police department. Since you are the Public Safety Council Chair, could you please address this with the police department? Thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Would that include
Okay.
the signs also?
Sure.
I just got one.
Not yet.
thing to
No,
say.
Well,
we're,
while we're-
Back and
old
forth.
business, any old
While
business.
we're
Yes,
in
Mayor, I have
the
old business.
traffic, with
About the
the
traffic.
the new
I-
business with the traffic, just Yapo and 202, it just seems like people are ignoring the stop sign on Yapo. They're going out there, they're blocking traffic, they're.
That's why we need the
I don't know,
study. It
yeah,
is,
But if we could have a police officer maybe just look at it.
Councilman Knapp?
Already done.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Old
Any old
business,
business?
yes,
Yes.
old business. Mayor, something very disturbing has come to my attention. In November, prior to our meeting, there was an agenda, and on the agenda was the item, our traffic study.
Right.
4 days later, it was removed from the agenda. Did you remove it from the agenda?
Did I remove?
No,
Was that
actually,
when
I
I
asked
wasn't
him to
here?
remove
Well, all right, I want to make a point, so that we all know. Read the bylaws, okay? The mayor makes the agenda. Any council person can put something on the agenda. The only way an item can be removed from the agenda is if the council tables it. No one person on the council has the authority to remove anything from the agenda. The Public Safety Committee put that on the agenda for us to discuss, and now we're a month later, and we're not doing anything with
We
it.
didn't have a
Actually,
proposal,
that's
actually,
not
at
It
the
was
We
time.
didn't
on-
have the proposal.
You're the one who said we didn't have to, you yelled at John Yukimic. Where's the proposal?
Remember?
Pardon?
Yes, you
I
remember
didn't
that?
say that, I'm sorry, say that again.
You yelled at, is he
Well,
still
you didn't
here?
yell.
I'm here, I'm still here. I believe our proposal is dated the end of October, so.
But you were saying to him, he was looking on his computer, where is, I asked you for this proposal
Correct.
a few
and-
months ago.
Right, and we were gonna, that's when we were gonna discuss it.
But we didn't have the proposal.
It was removed from the agenda.
He didn't have it ready.
Yes, he did for the
Mayor, Mayor, with all due respect, I did have it right.
Yes, he did. For that meeting, he had it, but it was removed.
I didn't remove it.
Well, nobody can remove anything
Well,
from the agenda.
actually, some items were removed today by our attorney.
Well, that's.
Against the law, lock them up.
At the meeting.
It was removed,
Well, it just
resolution
wasn't prepared.
19318,
But it wasn't.
19 code 799, the first aid squad, the proclamation, the ordinance on the site plan design standards, the shade
If
tree
it's not
ordinance.
ready, if it's not ready,
Well, then
yes.
he removed it. So you
Why?
must say,
I
you
It was
gotta be
still, wait, it was
specific.
still on the agenda.
It
He
was
didn't
re-
remove it from the
No,
agenda,
he did, it was,
but it's on the printed agenda.
well,
But
the
what
revised,
I'm a-
nope, the revised agenda has it off the agenda. If you look at the revised agenda, did you get the revised agenda?
It's paper.
The revised agenda took off the first aid
I-
squad because they couldn't physically be here.
Right.
That was what was taken off.
Isn't
The
the-
administrative committee was supposed to have met all year to look at the bylaws and go through it. So, my suggestion is,
And you requested that we not do it because of the holidays and all the time off.
right, so my suggestion is, whoever's the administrative committee in January, the priority is you have to redo these bylaws. These bylaws are for,
Yes,
what's the
they have
date? What's the date of your bylaws? What is the date on there?
1812.
I think the last time they were updated was
2006.
2006.
2006, that's a long time ago.
That's like 1812.
I just,
But
I
wait,
just
you
want
know
to make
what?
it straight.
But wait a minute, Councilman, let's just be fair. Not everybody follows all of the bylaws, and you're picking on one particular issue. There have been violations of bylaws throughout the year, and so we have to really sit down now.
I can tell you I didn't violate the bylaws. If you ask Mr. Bialy, I wanted to have a marijuana discussion down at the
You're
scene,
right.
and I called you ahead of time.
You did.
So
And you did
I'm
it
not
correctly.
violating him.
You did it
All right.
correctly.
All right,
It
it's
bothers
passed,
me.
it's passed,
It
it's
bothers me
over.
that that was done.
Okay,
Okay.
it's done.
All right.
We can't undo it. It was taken off, we can't undo it.
But
So now
let's
we-
make it clear.
I am
No one has
asking-
the authority to
Will
take
you
anything
please
off you.
On the
be-
bright side, we're not
All right,
voting for
forget
the
about the
traffic study,
administration
spending
committee.
$8,000.
I will, how about if I just do an ad hoc committee of bylaws.
No, we're doing it. The administrative committee's gonna do it.
Okay, good.
May-
You're gonna
may-
be on it again?
I don't know. It's up to the new council president.
Okay.
Mayor, can I just
Council
say,
President, whoever it's going to be, put Councilman Pignatelli on administration so he does the bylaws.
It's up to them.
Mayor?
Yes.
I just want to say one thing. If a council person has something put on the agenda, another council person can't remove it off the agenda.
Right.
I mean, if a
All right.
person wants to withdraw it himself, he can take it off the agenda.
All right, so we've got through that. So now all right, we
Let's
cleared
move on.
the table.
Okay.
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 Next,
If I did that, I apologize.
council committees. Councilman, Talmini, public events.
Wait, I'm sorry, Mayor, I do have old business.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
so much for 8:30.
Well, we'll make it quick. As everybody, well, I'm sure a lot of people know, we have a lot of failing infrastructure in town, and we have to, things that we have to maintain. Patriots Way Bridge, Lenape Lane Bridge, sidewalk by Great Oak Park, water and sewer. So we are going to be, in order to make sure, just like our roads have a program,
business?
we're gonna be putting in our budget.
I don't know what he's talking about.
What?
I want to know if this falls under old business. or
Well, I
whether-
think, I'm assuming it's old business only because these are things that we're already dealing with. But we now have to, we just want to bring the public up to date. No?
I'm asking Brian for a legal.
Well, again, I don't know what the topic is. There's a
The
little
topic
about
is just, is our
infrastructure.
infrastructure and creating and program budgeting so that we can get our infrastructure repaired.
Yeah, we're at the council.
Council committee report.
Yeah, I
You
mean,
want to do it under committee report? That's fine.
Okay. Councilman Talmini,
Yeah.
public events, that's
Yes.
brightness.
Yes, public events. We will be having the Christmas tree and menorah lighting on December 8th at 5 p.m. at the
Veterans Park?
Yeah, Veterans Park. Santa Claus will be there. There'll be caroling. There'll be, and then once the lighting is done, we'll move down to Valley, and there'll be some entertainment and some refreshments, and you can sit on Santa's lap, take a picture, and have a great time.
Is Santa going to make an appearance at Veterans Park on the fire truck?
Yes, yeah, he'll typically what happens is they'll sing a carol about Santa Claus is coming to town, and
cute.
Santa Claus comes to town, and so and then he depending on the weather, the Santa Claus will start people walking down to the school.
Nice.
And then, so just with public events also, please, if you have time, become a member. We could always use the help. And even if you're not a member and you're just interested in helping, please just come and, we'll take your help. And then the mayor had mentioned the judging for the holiday lights. That's on December 19th. And then also, I don't know if you had noticed on one of the things that Chopper had sent out, there was a coupon for lights at the hardware store in town. The hardware store offered that because they said, we'll try and get more people doing the lighting, so they're giving a discount on lights. You just have to show up with the coupon, and Chopper sent that to everyone, so everyone should have that coupon. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Councilman?
OCC, Communications Commission, next meeting is January 6, 2020, 7:30 PM right here in council chambers. They still need volunteers for the TV committee and the OCC for this coming year, 2020. And it's really important. The reason they need the volunteers is, these are the people that, cover all the public events such as Santa Claus coming to town, the lighting ceremony that's going to take place downtown. This is really for you, for public access, so if anybody wants to get involved, they'll even train you. So just reach out to Ryan Schwartzfeger at the OCC, send an email, and or send it to the mayor, and you'll get appointed. But they really need help. Rec Commission, we had a meeting last week. I'm happy to report that the hockey rink is now officially complete. They just finished all the striping, and we want to really thank Jason and Gerald Duncan for the fine work that they did in striping that, and also Sherman Williams for donating all the paint for the striping for the rink as well. There's going to be a 6 p.m. this Friday. There's going to be the roller rink grand opening ceremony, so the public is certainly invited, and their first game will be this Saturday on the new rink. Sign-ups after the first of the year are going to be girls volleyball, baseball, softball, and also the new K through 2 lacrosse program. So for information, go to oaklandrec.org. And our next rec meeting is December 16th. And just one thing that came out of the meeting, question for Mr. Coons. Is there any way that we can, for the rec commission, put all the rates of all the fees online with a link so that the residents have easy access to that? There were several residents in attendance last time, and they just want to know what, a year in advance what everything, what the fees are going to be.
Yeah, there's no reason we couldn't come up with a document and post it. I mean, it is in the code, we could just link it back to the code.
But if this way you don't have to go digging for it, just under the rec portion of it, have a quick link there, take them right to the fees.
Yeah, we could have them create something, we can post it up.
Okay, thank you, that's a recommendation that came out of there. And also, we had a water and sewer meeting, myself, the mayor, Councilman Bialy attended 2 weeks ago. It was really a town hall meeting that took place at the senior center. There were probably about 30, 40 people in attendance. And really, they wanted to really be heard about some of the issues that they're having, some of the smells, some of the sewer backups that were taking place. And the people that were in attendance were, besides myself and Councilman Bialy and the mayor, were also at the block engineering, environmental engineering, Boswell Engineering. And so it was really a discussion about some of the problems that they're facing and also the direction that the town is taking as far as trying to get those treatment plants offline and turn into pumping stations. We certainly, I'm sure Councilman Bialy can attest to the fact, and the mayor, that we certainly learned quite a bit at this meeting. And we are scheduling another water and sewer meeting this December to, kind of close the book out on that. So that's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Senior report, the weekly movie schedule continues every Monday at 1:30. Flyer with the weekly movie schedule can be picked up at the senior center, is available at the borough website. Registration is open for the winter trip to Wind Creek Casino in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania on December 17th. Seats are still available. Line dancing will continue in December with our volunteer instructor, Edith. There's no registration for this class, and the classes will be held on Friday. Fridays, December 6th and 20th at 2 p.m. The Men's Club will have a special program on December 16th at 1 p.m. They will be having a cooking class and will be making holiday gingerbread cookies. So congratulations to the Men's Club for doing that. Historian Kevin Weiss will be hosting a presentation on Thursday, December 19th at 1 p.m. on the history of Christmas traditions. A representative from Bergen County Division of Consumer Protection will be hosting a presentation on protecting yourself in the retail world on Thursday, December 5th at 1 p.m. That's tomorrow afternoon. And the Senior Center will be hosting an end-of-the-year New Year's Eve party. It will be on December 31st. Doors open at 11 a.m. and the cost is $5 per person, and registration is now open. DPW report.
A bargain.
The recent storm has produced some unexpected changes in our yard waste pickup. Because of the storm, Skyline Drive was closed on Monday. The yard waste is taken to a compost area off Skyline Drive. And the DPW was told by our trash company that any yard waste not picked up on Monday would be picked up the following day, and that didn't happen.
Didn't happen.
Well, that didn't happen because the town called the trash company called somebody in town, and they were told that Skyline Drive was closed again, so they didn't show up to pick up the yard waste. They picked up the trash, but not the yard waste. So we are asking all the residents to put out any yard waste for this coming week's pickup, either December 9th or December 10th, which also happens to be the last pickup of this year. Not until the spring will it start up again. There is also a concern, this is a big concern now, because I saw it coming here tonight, a concern that bags of leaves that were put out on Monday and Tuesday are now frozen in the snow. And it's up to the resident to dislodge the bags from the snow because the trash pickup don't want to come along and pull a bag that's iced in the snow, and the bag rips, and where are the leaves? They're all over the place. So if you can help out and make sure that your trash, your yard waste, if they're in bags, is separated from the ice and snow, it would greatly help the pickup. Our superintendent of public works has been in touch with Rockland Electric concerning some issues with the LED streetlights, and I've answered a few of the residents who have complaints, and rightly so, because for some reason, Rockland just went ahead and put in what they thought was the best, and some of them are, there's only two sizes. We have 100 lumen and 70 lumen. Actually, it's not lumens, it's what they call the 100 grade, which is actually 98, and the 72. So we have two to choose from. They've been putting in hundreds all over, and some of them, we typically use the hundreds at intersections where it's kind of needed, because you have traffic coming from different directions. But in the middle of a block, a 70 is good enough. So we've asked Rockland to come back and switch out those that are becoming a nuisance light, and we're gonna make everybody happy. That's the bottom line. And lastly, I'd like to remind everyone, once again, this is the last pickup for yard waste. So be sure you get your stuff out on Monday and Tuesday, the 9th and the 10th. And thanks to Anthony Marcuselli and the whole DPW crew for the work they did over the weekend during the snow event, where they once again came to do the job and get the job done. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Councilman?
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I attended the Green Tea meeting last night. They discussed that Fair Lawn has agreed to accept both plastic and styrofoam. The hub has an agreement with Englewood to become a transfer station for plastic film. However, there's a baler that's needed that costs $25,000. And towns are asked to contribute $2,000 of their clean community money toward Englewood's transfer station for recycling plastics. 20 towns in Bergen County have agreed to recycle styrofoam and plastic. Several towns in Bergen County are also adopting plastic bag bans. Let me see, May 2nd, the County Hub is also going to sponsor a art event, and December 28th, there's going to be a styrofoam collection at the Hackensack River Club. The Board of Health. The Board of Health discussed several reports, including the inspector's report, public health nursing, Tyco Animal Control, and the registrar's report. They also discussed body art application and annual fee discussion. Evidently, one is planning on opening by JD's, in which they will do tattooing of the eyebrows. So there is no fee, pardon?
Tattooing of the eyebrows?
Eyebrow.
Yeah.
Correct. Anyway.
Who is doing that?
There's a company, the business that's going to go in at the end of.
Oh, where the boot camp was.
Yeah. So they are discussing body art application annual fee because we don't have one. Environmental Commission.
Oh, so it's tattoo, like a tattoo?
Yeah,
Oh,
right,
okay.
exactly. Last night I attended the Environmental Commission meeting. Proud to announce that we again achieved bronze certification, and that they're going to apply for another grant for Roots for Rivers, which we saw on the agenda tonight. It wasn't removed, but it was on the agenda.
Wow. Can we say passive aggressive?
Also, they're looking to do a GIS for the Great Oak Park, in which they will be able to identify the butterfly garden, all the different trees that are there, and all the different plants that are there. So it should be really, really nice.
Google Earth does that. There's a Google Earth Pro.
Yeah, I don't know. I just got off my flip phone, so I don't know anything about Google Earth. Anyway, next year, is going to be the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. So hopefully we will get that acorn from the tree from Morristown, right? They're going to give us a seedling. John,
Who
you know
you talking
about
to?
that? Yeah,
Who are you talking to?
Johnny.
Oh.
Well, he's shaking his head, so he
Yes,
must
I
know
know.
about it. Each town in New Jersey is going to get a seedling from that tree.
Aw.
And so Oakland will be getting one, and hopefully we'll plant that in a prominent place.
So do I.
Let me see, that's about it. The other thing I want to do is congratulate, I think it was the Oakland Commerce Committee that did the Toys for Tots.
Yes.
Yeah. This year, we collected 2,000 toys.
Wow, great.
And last year, in the 5 counties, the Marines collected 147,000 toys.
Wow.
So my hat's off to the Marine Corps, my hat's off to the Community of Commerce. The fire department was there, did a great job encircling the children so no one got hurt. I was there with the first aid squad. Thank God we didn't have any need to respond to anyone there. And the police department did a great job directing traffic and helping us have a great event. So our hats off to the Marine Corps, 147,000 toys last year, and 2,000 just in Oakland. We did a great job.
That's great.
Yep. Thank you, Mayor, that's it.
Councilman, now, you're
Thank
on.
you. I was caught in that traffic, by the way, for that Toys for Tots. So.
It didn't last too long.
Shade Tree Commission did not meet. They were supposed to meet Monday, but due to the snow, they did not meet. The Flood Commission will be meeting this coming Monday at 7:30. The Planning Board will be meeting on the second Thursday of, I guess, January. No, I'm sorry.
No, December.
Tomorrow.
We're still in December.
Planning Board is meeting tomorrow right here at 7 o'clock.
No,
Wait, where am I getting Thursday?
next Thursday.
Now, oh, that's right, we're at the wrong, I apologize. Our council meeting got pushed back, or pushed earlier a week. So the planning board will meet next Thursday, right here at 7 o'clock.
And we're still hearing the application for the Burger King property.
Yes, that's still in process. From the Capital Projects Infrastructure Committee, we are going to start, it's okay to say it now?
Now you can talk, yes.
Thank you. We are going to start working on our other infrastructure, like we have a road program where we work on the roads constantly to keep them up to date. We're going to start doing the same thing with some of our other infrastructure, and we'll be working it into the budget so that things that have been failing at Lenape Lane Bridge and whatnot, and that is Patriots Way Bridge, the sidewalk by Great Oak Park that fell apart. These are all the things that we're going to make sure that don't get to this point where we have these generational type repairs that we have to do. I learned that word from Mr. Kuntz, by the way, generational repair. Thank you. You're welcome. So that's what we're doing with the, and also the Allerman Brook project is being cleaned up today and tomorrow. So that was done very well. It was done right on budget. However, we are going to be replacing the top 3 blocks on the block wall. They're a little too high, so we're going to get a lower block from the manufacturer, but the contractor's not going to have to go back in the water. He can do that right from the side of the road there. And then that's going to be a very successful project. That one went exactly the way it was supposed to go. The homeowners are happy. The DEP is happy. Mr. Yukimic, you're happy?
I'm happy if you're happy.
Well, I'm happy if you're happy.
All right,
It's like a whole kumbaya thing here. And that's it, Mayor.
thank you. Councilman, you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
I
Just one
couldn't see
report.
that we have to spread it out.
That's right.
Dog park report. So Ryan had the raffle. Their goal was to raise up to $10,000, I believe. They raised $5,000. $2,500 go to the dog park and $2,500 went to the winner. He'd like to thank everyone that participated. Chaparuso, Pet Supply Plus for selling tickets at their stores. Another raffle will be coming soon. They will be raffling off footballs signed by 2 New York Giants players. I'm sure
Yeah.
anybody's interested in those, but hey, listen, Eli's coming back next Sunday,
God.
so maybe he'll sign one.
I was watching that game.
There'll be $10 a ticket. Check the website and Facebook page for their latest updates. 2020, he claims, will be a big year, so donations and volunteers are needed. Please email dogrun4oakland@yahoo.com for more information. That's all I have.
Oh, all right, motion to open to the public.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
You could speak again, yes. That's allowed in the bylaws.
Do you need to know my name and everything again?
Yes.
Dave Richardson, 320 Rampo Valley. Just to expand a little bit about the intersection at West Oakland and 202 there. There's a right-hand turn lane to turn right onto West Oakland Avenue. And there's a sign there, it says,
No turn on red.
it says, stop here on red, right turn on after stop only. Well, nobody sees that sign, because I've sit there to go straight through, and people buzz right
Do
by
you
me,
know
and I'm
what the
sitting
law
there at the red light.
is? By the way, it's a law anyway, you have to stop before you make the right turn.
But they don't do it.
Even without the sign, you have to stop.
I know, but I've come the other way, and I'm on the green, there's a green arrow to turn left, right? You know how many times I've met people head on there, and they're cursing and swearing at me? Why can't they put a sign up there with a blinking halo light on there, or, you know, like around, that's solar powered?
Because
to
we
let
don't
these
have
people know.
control on that intersection.
County road.
No, the state controls that light.
State signal.
It's bad here.
I know, that's why we're having the study done, so we can redo the whole intersection.
It needs it, I mean, it's really
Yes,
bad here.
we know that.
Okay.
Anybody else?
All
Motion
I-
to close? Oh, you want to speak?
All I wanted to say was before everybody.
You could
talking
speak,
about
come up, you have
that.
to come up here. And the microphone's at the ceiling, so you have to give your name and address.
Old Carmen Store, 49 McNomie Street.
Welcome.
Thank you. I've been here since '92. All I wanted to say was, there are crosswalks in the middle of blocks. And when I grew up, I lived by a public announcement. Don't walk in the middle of the street. Walk up to the corner where the coast is clear and wait, and wait, and wait until you see the light turn green. There's nothing in the middle. Everything's in the middle now. And there's a sign in the middle of the street saying pedestrians. There's no more go on a corner or go on that corner, wait for that light to turn green, or wait for that light to turn green. That's all I wanted to say.
And motor
Cross
vehicle,
the green, not in between.
Walk at the green and not in between.
and if
That's
you are
another.
driving a car, you must stop for pedestrians.
Say again?
You have to stop for pedestrians.
Yeah, oh, no, I know, that's the
But they
law
don't.
now, I understand that. No, I understand that, that's the law now.
You're right.
But when I was growing up,
You're right.
it was always go to the corner, stand there, wait for the light to
You're
turn
correct.
green, and then cross.
You're right.
And everybody in the car knew that when that light was red, you stop, you wait.
Yes.
Not anymore.
Thank you. Anybody else? Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Councilman Tomini, bills to be paid?
Bills to be paid, $1,404,345.95. So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilman Biallo.
Yes.
Councilman Knapp.
Yes.
Councilman Kamala.
Yes.
Councilman Levy.
I guess, yes.
Councilman Pinutelli.
Yes.
Councilman Calhoun.
Yes.
Motion to close?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next meeting will be here, right here, December 18th, and we will continue discussion of Airbnb, our rental ordinance, etc. Be safe tonight.
Okay.